Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now. If you are a fan of any of these teams, I'm not sorry that I have offended you. So if you guys have known me for a little bit, you know that I am a sports fan. So naturally, there are teams that I love. Well, there are also teams that I can't stand. In other words, I hate. So today I compiled a list for you all of the 12 teams that I hate. So starting off my list, I have the Georgia Bulldogs. You know, I actually find Georgia to be kind of tolerable, but they're still a rival to Tennessee, so I kind of have to put them on this list. But they're at the bottom because I don't really hate Georgia. I just don't like them because they're rivals. I respect Georgia. I like Georgia. I cheer on Georgia whenever they're not playing Tennessee, and so yeah, I mean, I can tolerate them. However, the local fans are very annoying. I've been to Athens, Georgia. I've seen where the home of the Dogs is, and it is rather annoying to hear them speak. Because they have a strong accent. That's really it. It makes it hard to understand. About the only other thing their fans do that really makes me mad is they do this thing where they get in your face and they bark at you like a real dog. Like, I'm sorry, but do you see Tennessee fans running around and getting in people's faces with coonskin hats yelling, "Go Vols"? Didn't think so. Next, I have the University of Southern California Trojans. One man, Lane Kiffin. The way that he left Tennessee and went to USC because his wife liked it better in LA and all that stuff. Plus, he didn't see a bright future with UT, which I understand it did take a few years for Tennessee to get back on their feet. But seriously, dude, leaving at midnight and just kind of saying, "Hey, see ya." I'm just not even. And now he's at Alabama. That just adds insult to injury for us Tennessee fans. USC is notorious for having thug players. Much like Florida State, much like Miami, much like Ohio State. Plus, one thing that I've always found annoying, and this is just me, their band has been everywhere. They've been on the Grammys, they've been on stage with Beyonce and Fleetwood Mac, they've been on American Idol, How I Met Your Mother, and other various TV shows. I mean, to me, they're just a band. I mean, sure, they're talented, and they do have some cool cadences and things like that, but in my opinion, Tennessee State's marching band needs to be on national TV and get national attention in that way, because the stuff that they do is just wow, man. I can't do it justice explaining what all they do to you guys, so I encourage you to go and look them up. It is fantastic. Next up, I have Penn State Nittany Lions. Really, the only thing I don't like about Penn State is Jerry Sandusky and the fact that that school is run by a bunch of pedophiles. And that's really it. I don't really follow Penn State. I don't follow their division, so I really don't know that much about them. But from what I do know, I can't stand them because of what happened with Sandusky and that whole, touching little boys and stuff like that. Like, no, man, come on, that's sick. Next up, I have the Golden State Warriors. The obvious reason for why I hate Golden State is all the bandwagon fans of Steph Curry and Steph Curry himself. I respect Curry as a man, but as a player, no, dude, I can't stand him. But really, for me, it's their fans. Their fans only like them because they're the popular team that the NBA is riding on. And I mean, it was proven by the NBA on their YouTube channel. They did like a Q&A of like popular Warriors trivia to the fans that were going to one of the playoff games between them and the Cavs. And there were those who did know most, if not all of the questions, but then the others, were obviously just Steph Curry fans, and they didn't know anything about the Warriors organization. Plus, they're dirty three-point hitting sissies. I mean, kicking people in the nuts is not cool. That's not basketball. Blatantly trying to get a foul called on you and, flopping and all that stuff is just, it's not cool for me. And they're very whiny, as evident by how they acted after they lost the finals. They didn't even, from what I saw at least, they didn't show any respect to the Cleveland Cavaliers for winning, and it just kind of got on my nerves. I didn't like that. Next, I have Duke University. This is both with football and basketball. The referees love Duke. Like, they give them every call that could possibly go their way, in basketball especially. Then you got Coach K's big head and how he said if he was starting to become anything like the coach of UNC, just go ahead and shoot him. Plus, all of their players seem to flop more than LeBron James. And one thing that I've noticed about the fans of Duke is they are mostly comprised of snobby rich kids who get their big break and go to this big party university, get drunk, get wasted, get on drugs, and then they go to these games and they're the most annoying people ever. They're another one of the crybaby teams. They cry every time they get beaten. They blame it on somebody from the other team. They put the blame on everybody else but themselves. Plus, they think that they're always, like, going to win a game in basketball, and they think they're the best and stuff like that. Which, I get it. When you win a lot, you get that mentality, and that's really how all schools should play. You should play with that, we're going to win this game mentality, but really, it becomes annoying when you go in and you are just blowing off the other team like they don't even exist, and they don't even have talent. Like, come on, you know better than that, I hope. Next up, I have the New England Patriots. This one really should be obvious because of crybaby Brady. All the refs favoring them. All the rules that have been bent because of Brady and his team. Gronk. All the crap he does. Aaron Hernandez. The Tuck rule that was created because of Brady. The media loving them and like that's their team. Like, oh yeah, the Patriots are playing and I work for Fox and CNN and all those guys. Yeah, go Pats. Just goes to show you how many bandwagon fans they have. Like, if you're not into football, they are a good team to follow because they win a lot. I mean, they are a good team. I can't take that away from them. I can't say that they are not talented. But the one thing is like, I encourage you to not follow them just because everybody else who gets into football follows them first. Don't do that, please. Next up is a hockey team. The Pittsburgh Penguins. Yes, I'm a butthurt Flyers fan. I will say that loudly and proudly. I am a butthurt Flyers fan. But come on, Crybaby Crosby, all the rules that have been bent around him, he is the Tom Brady of the NHL. Let's just face that, okay? That is a fact. You can prove it with science, you can prove it with history, you can prove it with anything you can think of. Their fans are the most horrible fans ever. I have seen so many fights on YouTube that have been started by Pittsburgh Penguin fans because someone said something about Crosby and they got them all riled up, and here they go, throwing those jabs like it's their last dying wish is to hit a Flyers fan. They play dirty as a team, and then when they get hit, like really good and clean, I might add, they go crying to the commissioner. They go crying to everybody in the league because Crosby, that's why. Plus, one thing I've noticed whenever I watch them play, it seems to me that they try to injure the other team's players. I watched the playoffs this year. I saw some dirty stuff from them. Again, this is my opinion. And next up, I'm going back to college football, and it is the Ohio State University. Really? The Ohio State? You're the only Ohio State in the world. Of course you're the Ohio State University. That is just douchebaggery 101. I say this about a lot of teams, but these guys do have the most annoying fans. They aren't the fan base that I hate the most, I'll talk about that in a minute, but they are the most annoying fans. Why are they the most annoying? Because basically all of Ohio is brainwashed into loving them from birth. Plus, I mean, think about this for a second. I mean, their big rival is Michigan. They have a song about how they hate Michigan. And it's like a popular song. They idolize cheaters and crybabies like Woody Hayes. For those of you who don't know, I lost all respect for Woody Hayes when I saw that he had literally gone up to a Clemson player and punched him because he intercepted a ball. Like, it was a clean interception, Woody. Come on, man. You're old, you've seen a lot of stuff, and you should be pretty wise enough to know that if a guy gets a clean interception against your team, you just let it go because you know that you can get him next time. Not go and sucker punch him. If you don't believe me that some of their fans are crazy, let me remind you of something. Casey Anthony is a fan of Ohio State, plus Jeffrey Dahmer attended Ohio State. That should prove that some of their fans are psychopaths. Here's something I found very interesting. They won 23 straight games, okay? They lose the 24th, and then it seems like all the reporters, all of the fans just quit appreciating the 23 games that they won previously up until that point. Like, I'm sorry, but if it was my team that went on a 23 game winning streak in football and you just lose one game out of 24, I think that's something to be cheering about. I mean, hey, it shows that you had good players, you had dominance over the people you played. Nope, forget it. Lost one. I'm done. I need to go cry in a corner for a while and, rethink my life. And it seems to me that ESPN hypes up Ohio State more than any other team that they cover. They're another one of those schools that have more thug players. Plus, they're another school that blames everybody for their problems except for them. They don't look inside at what they could have done better. Nope, it's the turf, or it's this guy got a dirty hit and it was not called by the referee, surprisingly, because they love us too. It was too loud in the stadium. Too many people were there. I didn't feel comfortable. I ate a pizza and it made me sluggish, and I blame Domino's for making that pizza right there in front of me to make me eat it. Come on, some of it can be really ridiculous sometimes. Next up on the list is a team that I don't like solely for the fact that they are rivals to the Chicago Blackhawks. That's right, I'm talking about the St. Louis Blues. So when they started out in the late 60s, they were pretty good. I mean, they were pretty consistent. They were good. I mean, I think they may have won a Stanley Cup. I don't know. I'm not a fan. They have some Hall of Fame players on their former rosters, and so I do respect them in that regard. However, their history shows that they did take a big hit. Up until about 2011, they were not that good. But I mean, they did beat Chicago, which I'm very upset over. That shouldn't have happened. But hey, they got to the Western Conference Finals, right? That's good. Oh wait, no, it's not, because they didn't win. And guess what they did? They whined about it. But think about it. They only exist because of the Blackhawks, okay? The former owner had talked to one of the Detroit Red Wings owners about using this one stadium that they had in St. Louis that, was just there. And they needed something to go there because the NHL was expanding, and so they reached out to somebody and they signed the deal, and there, the Blues were born. Thank you to the former Blackhawks owner for doing that, because you have created one of the biggest rivalries in the NHL currently. So think about it, St. Louis, you exist because of us. You should be a little bit more appreciative for the people who birthed you. They're another dirty team, and like I said, the biggest reason for why I don't like them is because they don't like my Blackhawks, so I hate St. Louis. Next up is the Montreal Canadiens. Oh boy, this will be fun. Bruins fan here, so this is very objective and I don't care. That's one thing I don't like about Montreal is anytime something happens to them from Boston, something that Boston did to them, they want to go cry about it. I mean, I get it. They have a very long rivalry. Like, it's almost 100 years old. And so I get the fact that they are bred to hate each other. Like, even guys that aren't from Montreal or from Boston, they go crying about it just because they can. And the biggest example of this is when Zdeno Chara hit Max Pacioretty into one of the stanchions by accident. And they wanted to arrest Chara, they wanted to put him on assault charges, they wanted him to be banned from the NHL. I mean, really, it was a hit, it was an accident, that's his job. His job is to get the puck away from people. You can't blame him for being in the wrong place at the wrong time and not being able to back out. Come on, Montreal. You guys are smarter than this. I think you're smarter than this, at least. Plus, Montreal has asshole fans. And what I mean by that is they're very snarky. I mean, back in the day, they used to dress up in suits and ties, and they would go to the games, and, it was an experience for the rich and the wealthy of Montreal, or the bourgeoisie, as they say, because everything is in French in Montreal. So their fans are very snarky. They had this already predetermined idea that they are better than other people because they are the upper class city of Canada. Another thing about the Canadians and their fans that I don't like is they booed the national anthem of the United States when they played Boston one year. Like, really? I mean, I get it. Rivalry. Big rivalry. You hate each other. But booing the national anthem of your rival, I mean, that shows very little class. That's on a completely different level than just sports. If you don't like each other, keep it in the sport. But speaking of them being French, the fans demanded a French-speaking coach. I mean, it makes sense because they want everything else to be French in Montreal. Plus, they've had some annoying players come and go throughout the years on their rosters. They're the team that is very much like Pittsburgh. They're loved by the officials and by the league officials. And they think that they're better because they're Canada's team. I thought Canada had 6 teams to choose from, not just one. And we're to the final 2, guys. This is the cream of the crop. The people I hate the most in this world when it comes to sports. Next up is the Alabama Crimson Tide. They're just disgusting. Like, think about this for a minute. Alabama fans are mostly married to their cousins, their daughters, their sons, their, mothers, fathers. I mean, it's just nasty if you think about it for a minute. I hate Alabama because of the Rammer Jammer chant. If you don't know what that is, you're obviously not from Alabama, and you obviously do not follow SEC sports, so I encourage you to go and look it up. It's very simple, it's short, but it is, very disrespectful. Coming from a school that puts their class above everything else. Interesting. Plus, I have to hate them because of all those freaking national titles. Yes, I'm a butthurt Tennessee fan over that. Absolutely, I'm jealous. But what other team in the SEC is not jealous of that? I mean, come on. Another thing about not being so classy is they call the away locker room the fail room. Well, I guess when you do win a lot, you get that I'm better than everybody attitude, and you think that you're just going to win every game because that's exactly what they do as well. They idolize Bear Bryant. They idolize Nick Saban, sorry. Nick Saban. Saban. And of course, back to the fans again. They are all annoying. They are all just they try to be nice, but then you say one bad thing about Bear Bryant or Nick Saban, and they just go off on you. Especially if you're an Auburn fan. Let me give you an example of this. Harvey Updike was a man that was an Alabama fan, and he got so mad and so wrapped up in, the Crimson Tide lore that he decided, hey, I'm gonna go poison the 2 tumor trees on Auburn's campus and make them slowly die. That's a good idea, right? I mean, go Crimson Tide. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, it's not go Crimson Tide. It's Roll Tide! God, I hate Roll Tide. It makes no sense. I'm sorry. And this is it, guys. This is the team that I can't stand in the entire world. I hate them more than anything else in the world. And if you guys have seen some other sports-related videos I've done, you've probably heard me mention them a couple times. I hate the Florida Gators. And I'm just going to kind of randomize these notes because that's what I did when I wrote them down. I thought of something about Florida that I couldn't stand. I just jotted it down. It may not be in any type of order. So here we go. Steve Spurrier to them is like Jesus Christ. And like Steve Spurrier, they have had several annoying coaches for years. And that stupid Gator Chomp is the most annoying thing in the world. I hate it. The Swamp Stadium probably smells like drugs and alcohol. Tim Tebow, the biggest loser in NFL history, went there, so that's a failure for them. And they win things that they shouldn't win. Like, they have won games last season that they should not have won. Oh, but the refs love them. Again, and their fans. Don't even get me started. We're facing them at the time of this video tomorrow. And I am very not prepared to go downtown and deal with those people. They are the definition of annoying fans. They start fights for no reason, and they think that they're better than everybody else because they're from Florida. And one thing I don't understand, they think that their orange is the prettiest orange to ever be conceived. Nope, not buying it. Sorry, but you gotta go with the nice Tennessee orange as the best orange in the world. You just do. One thing that I hate about Florida fans is they will come up to your face, do the Gator Chomp in your face. They will swear at you, they will breathe on you, and they are the ones that are very much like Ohio State. They get in your face and they make you want to hurt them. Plus, some of their fans have been known to be very racist. If you don't believe me, go look at some Miami Hurricanes fans' testimonials about dealing with Florida fans. That should open your mind a little bit. So that's it, guys. Those are the teams that I cannot stand the most. If you like this video, then please do me a favor and like the video. Also, leave a comment in the comment section down below of the teams that you can't stand. Follow me on my social medias that are up here in the description box below. And share this video with any of the fan bases listed. And of course, hit that subscribe button if you're new to me, guys, and I will see you all later.